shoot, that would be a combat move.
Hi, welcome to Make No Little Plans with Ivonne, and today my guest is...
My name is Calvin Carter.
Calvin, thanks for joining us.
Nice to meet you.
I appreciate it. And Calvin is a musician. He's the owner of GetCarterVision, which is to lease music, and you can listen and download his work. All right, today we'll be discussing his start in the industry, his career, his industry knowledge, and we have an activity. We'll have some music and business questions, so take note if you're just starting out. Can you tell everybody where we are today and why it's significant in your journey?
We're at the Harold Washington Library.
In Chicago.
The reason why this is Harold Washington Library in Chicago, and the reason why this is a significant place for me is because, well, when I first started playing piano, I couldn't really afford lessons. So therefore, I taught myself. So I taught myself with the books that I took from Harold Washington, some of which I have not bought back, but that was a long time ago.
So when did it start? When did your passion for music start? Have you always liked it?
I did not always like music at all.
Not a typical answer.
No. I grew into it mostly from self-teaching. So when I started teaching myself the music theory behind how to play piano, and that's how I eventually fell in love with it. So I'll probably say around 2007, 2008. That of which I learned by accident because I was originally trying to make beats like Dr. Dre. So I was like, I gotta get a MIDI keyboard. That's pretty much how I started from there. Started teaching myself from there. And having lessons very sporadically.
And can you go a little bit more into your lessons or who else taught you along the way?
I had a few lessons at Chicago State University at a piano master class. One of the teachers, his name was Jacoby Falcon, and he said that I was the only one that learned how to play and catch on very quickly. So therefore, he taught me a few lessons. It was like 6 lessons I had with him, and then from there, that's when I started self-teaching.
So how old were you when you were getting those lessons with him?
About 16 or 17. Yeah. So I came to piano fairly old. Well, not an adolescent age.
And then what else? What other lessons after that?
The only other lessons I really had was I had 1 semester at Sherwood in which I learned classical music. I hated it at the time, but I look back on it, I wish I would have kept taking it. Because that gave me the technique on how to hold my hands on the piano.
Is that you said Sherwood? Is
Sherwood,
that a school?
Conservatory, and that's at Columbia University. Another thing is that when I was in college, I had lessons too. I had a teacher that played piano for the Chicago Symphony Orchestra. Her name was Patricia Lee. Yeah, and then I had, I guess, what would be lessons would be jazz combo, jazz band. Yeah, Fred Miller, and I think it was I had another lesson with him as well, basically on transcribing jazz music.
So what was your major in school?
The major was really computer studies.
Okay.
I don't know why I did that.
Can you tell us, do you consider yourself more of a jazz pianist? Do you feel like you focus more on a certain genre?
Lately, I have been focusing on both classical and jazz. It's been a little bit more jazz, mainly because it's more aural. So I have perfect pitch and I have relative pitch.
And what is the relative pitch?
Relative pitch is when you're able to basically, I don't know if I could define it as the best way possible. Relative pitch is just basically knowing what the chords are, not the specific name of the chords like D minor 7, A 7, but you know that it's a dominant 7 chord, it's a minor chord, it's a diminished chord. So it's like hearing the types of chords and knowing
we met at MCL Theater with you doing playing piano or keyboard,
That's correct.
right? With musical improv group. How did you get that gig? And what have you been doing with musical improvisation?
MCO found me off Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
so I didn't have to do an audition. As a matter of fact, they invited me out to a show one day. They invited me out to Vamp Chicago one day, and then from there, I seen their show there from them. I thought to myself, it's pretty good. And I didn't have to do the audition because they already knew how it sounded.
Did studying jazz piano make it easy for you to do something like that?
Oh, yeah.
Musical improvisation, where they're improvising a few lines, and all of a sudden, like you come in playing a little bit of music, and then they have to start singing over that, and then the film scoring that you want to do, it really all ties in together, right?
Which is another reason why I chose to go with MCLs, because it has, and it's still teaching me, being at this so the first year, it's still teaching me how to perfectly create the music for the desired scene on the fly.
Mm-hmm. Do you know what the typical process is to get music in film?
So I'll give an example. So if I wanted to give some music to Chicago PD on Fox, right? Okay. They already have a set price for me, which you're gonna get paid off of. Like you don't negotiate that. Okay. To my knowing, not like this what I found. Mm-hmm. So like the licensing music for TV shows, it's a lot more harder than just leasing like a beat or like leasing a piece of music.
Another thing you also do.
Yeah. Like leasing is very easy. Like licensing music towards like a film or like a TV show, that is a lot harder.
I heard music sells all except music, and then Music Choice highlighted that entire departments and labels are now gone. The Chicago Urban League had a panel where they equated artists with startups and brands with merchandise. A consultant exposed that the top 50 artists are receiving like 3/4 of their money from touring. So many musicians also have to do multiple things to keep afloat, right? It's not just sell your music, you're doing many things, and even having different skill sets. So how have you had to diversify your income in order to continue in the music industry? Or if you can talk about yourself, or maybe how you've seen others do it. We know MCL, right?
Yeah.
And then you're leasing.
Yeah. In terms of, I answer in terms of how someone else is doing it, because like I'm still learning the experience right now. Okay. I'm still getting my feet wet with leasing, which it has helped out. But like, I would say like I was seeing someone else do it. Good example would probably be like maybe get a chance to rap or another producer out of New Orleans. His name is Curtis King Beats. Mm-hmm. So basically, he not only leases, but he gives out merchandise. Okay. Tutorials on his website. Mm-hmm. And you gotta pay for the tutorials. You gotta pay for one-on-one counseling. I create piano covers to get people in, mm-hmm. so they can like, if they don't even want to lease, they can still choose to pay for a song just for the listening experience. And I don't make like regular, just plain instrumentals. Like I actually make songs that stand on their own. Mm-hmm. So that not only a person can listen to it, but if an artist wants to use it, they can also use it as well. So I not only want to get more into film scoring, immerse myself in that, but I do also own commercial property. Mm-hmm. In the beginning, for me to like put studios inside of it, not only just recording studios, but dance studios, practice studios as well for the person that may want to get off work, they want to like practice real quick, play piano, or practice their instruments, and then go home. But also like I want to get
auditor from trading company, so
Yeah.
now you're talking a little bit of my language. So I saw that one of your videos online, you were mentioning about saving money and not spending too much or watching what you're spending. So can you go a little bit into what you recommend that maybe someone who's starting off or someone that graduated, like how do they invest their money wisely? Like in buying certain music equipment or certain music software, and then don't spend on this. You know, can you give us some of those tips?
Yeah, what I've been doing, my experience up to now, further going, uh, don't ruin your credit. You might need that.
Tip number one.
So like so say for instance, like a lot of stuff is online, you know, like you might want to use a credit card instead of just using a debit card because maybe you can't afford to use like $200 that same day, but you know you're gonna get $200 next week. Why not get it on a credit card now? And that $200 that you got next week, you can put back onto the credit card. That's the way I use my credit. Another thing is that, well, I've been eating the same thing every day. So, so like I don't spend lavishly on eating because I actually haven't ate out. I haven't ate out in about 6 months. And before then, I think it was about a year. I just haven't been eating out. I haven't really been eating out at different restaurants. Because I'm like, hey, well, that same $20 that I spent for this plate of food, I could buy a music book. I could invest in marketing. You know, like that. I see everything from a business standpoint, a strategic business standpoint. That's pretty much how I think about everything.
In the startup world, it's bootstrapping. So what do you think is something that you should spend on?
You should invest in yourself. If you're really serious about it, sometimes you might not be able to go on every night. Sometimes you might not be able to go to your favorite restaurant and not be afraid to do that and just be very, very patient. Because a lot of people, they lack patience and they want to get like a good looking car or like the best apartment right now. And they wonder, well, I'm not able to do music. And you working every day trying to pay off the credit card debt that you accumulated from spending lavishly. When you could just, spend on yourself, like directly on your well-being. And your career is associated with your well-being.
So I recently attended a panel at the Creative Incubator 2112 on copyright law, and I've watched webinars on black box royalties. I also volunteered at an entertainment law panel at SimFest. So I know that royalties can become a big deal, especially if your song hits. There's lawsuits involved and different issues. So you want to compose for film. And what do you think might be an issue that's going to either worry you now or like in the future about royalties or anything related to copyright?
I'd say the only thing that worries me is probably not getting paid on time. Because I know certain television studios or like certain record labels, they pay out differently. And it's not even that. Like, they either, they either don't pay out on time. Not to say that not generalizing all of it, but like they either don't pay out on time or like you don't get enough off.
I'm just going to ask you a little bit more lighthearted questions to get to understand some of your preferences a little bit better. What is the best live concert or musical performance you've ever attended?
A little something outside of the scope of jazz and classical. I would say I go to Chosen Few every year. I go to Chosen Few every year.
Okay.
So it's like a house picnic. It's like a really, really huge house festival.
What's a music genre that most people wouldn't assume that you listen to? House music?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, you answered that question. Your online content and your work experience demonstrate that you work with different genres. So can you share one type of genre that you think was probably the foundation, a very important foundation for other genres?
I had to pick one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I say classical music.
Classical music.
Yeah, like it was the basis of everything. Not just for other people, but mainly it was a straight message for me.
So then what would be the second one you want to say?
I was going to say jazz too, being that like in terms of the creativity and improvisation.
Who would you work with if you were doing composing for film? Who would you work with? An actor, another music producer, another musician, if you had just one pick?
I need to say like either Herbie Hancock or maybe John Carpenter.
All right, we're gonna go into an activity now where I'm gonna go through your top 5 artists that you mentioned to me, and if you can just give me one word, so it's like word association.
Thelonious Monk, andrograde.
Andrograde.
Yeah.
All right, new vocab in this video as well. Art Tatum.
Advanced.
Advanced. Bill Evans.
Romantic.
Dr. Dre.
Dr. Dre. Great.
Flying Lotus.
Flying Lotus. Yeah, experimental.
We're gonna do an activity where we're gonna do some improvisational music. For the first scene, what type of music would be great if you just got a new puppy, new cute little puppy, and you're just staring at it and its tiny ears and its tiny eyes. Our next theme is going to be love at first sight. So a guy sees a girl maybe walking across the street, and it's just a catching each other's eyes, and all of a sudden love at first sight, and whatever that sounds like. I'm going to turn it over to you. If you can share something with our audience that you've either want to pitch or just share anything you want to say.
If you would like to know more about me alongside my music, any other special information, feel free to go to GetCarterVision.com.
And we'll have the link in the description. All right, we're getting to the end, and I just have one more favor, one more request. Please complete the sentence. The purpose of music in this world is?
To help enlighten one's mind.
Thank you. Calvin, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Viewers, thanks for watching. This was Make No Little Plans with Ivonne. Until the next episode.